Hey, bud. How's it going? I'm not doing so well. No, she left me. I don't know. She mentioned something about hanging out with my buddies, drinking beer and playing stupid games. No, I don't get it. It's total bullshit. I don't know. I think I'm gonna dig myself into a hole for a couple months. I'm so sad. What? What about March 7th? Menstown 8. Twainhart. Holy boards? Bocce ball? Beer pong? Bud Bee? But I feel better already. I'll see you in a bit. This is great. Yep, we're on. Woo! Shining dimes, if we're ever puzzled by the changing time, there's a plate of homemade wishes on the kitchen windowsill, and it isn't enough to fill our lives with love. Well, welcome back to the Menstown Minute, everybody, where we take a little more than a minute to discuss all things Menstown. And this is a very special show because this is our inaugural show for the 2013 Menstown, Bud.
Feels like it's been a long time, Bud, since we've been back behind this camera talking all things Menstown. It's good to be home.
It is, it is. I feel, I don't know how Jim Nance feels, but if he's feeling what I'm feeling, that guy is a very lucky man.
Hello, friends, and welcome back.
This is a tradition unlike any other, Bud, and we have a special announcement about the location of Menstown 2013, Menstown number 8. Why don't you let us have it?
Location was announced officially on the email chain a couple of months ago. Things have been a little quiet out there. I guess Bud has had a couple of personal issues come up. Bit of a union thing going on here, too, on the campus. Twainhart was the location announced for number 8. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Twainhart, Bud?
No, not a problem. Twainhart is a little village nestled just north of Sonora and south of Pinecrest and Dodge Ridge. It's in the gold country, full of pine trees and bears. This is where the 49ers first were out there trying to make their riches. And then if I know anything about these 16 gentlemen coming up, they're trying to get some riches of their own.
Fitting location. 49ers going to the Super Bowl and laying an egg. Wonder who's going to lay an egg this year in the Menstown tournament.
Well, if last year was any indicator, we can assume that DTs and Bud Bees and any number of the Simersons and the Lovettes are all going to be without their name on the cup. But we're going to have to let that play out, Bud.
Yep.
Let's get down to the logistics of the tournament and what are we expecting? What are the logistics?
Well, tournament will open up on Saturday, draft being Friday at 6 p.m. Always a couple hours prior to the draft, they do a war room where they interview the potential picks, take them through a series of panel questions, and everyone gets a chance to talk to each of the competitors.
This was a new addition last year, and it was very successful where the bottom 8 interviewed the top 8.
Correct.
What what are your thoughts on how that transpired? How that went? Were competitors able to learn information about?
Yeah, that last year being our first Menstown, we were brought in to do a show and kind of follow along. I thought watching that war room where each of the draftees was coming in and getting interviewed was wonderful. I thought that went really smoothly. I thought the questions were hard-hitting at times, but very appropriate. I think a lot came to light there, and of course we had some real shocker picks.
Really, including the #1 pick being one Paul Reyes, who got chosen ahead of Clay, ahead of Bettesini, and Levette.
Yeah, you had Paul Reyes and Kevin Ratto, the two lowest ranked of the competitors in the top 8. They went 1-2, which was a real shocker. Perennial champs Bettesini, Tone Opener, and then one-time champs Levette, Spencer, and Dom Hilligus didn't get picked in those top few slots.
Very interesting. It's almost like the NFL Combine, where those interviews and perhaps even like the Wonderlic, those other competitors, the topper-ranked competitors, even though they had the pedigree, they didn't perform well in those one-on-one or one-on-8 interviews.
Well, I think what we saw last year with Menstown, we had that additional night, which was Thursday night. Everybody showed up. There was a lot of game playing from Thursday night into Friday. Even Friday morning, we saw quite a bit of the competitors playing beer pong and holy boards. And I think a lot of stock went up when a lot of those, lower seeds, the Rattos and the Reyes, were playing a ton of holy boards and beer pong.
Showing off their goods, if you will.
Yeah, showing off their skills, maybe showing a little bit too much, too early. They of course went high in the draft, and they were the first 2 teams out of the tournament.
Unbelievable turn of events, and I don't think we could go any farther without mentioning that one of the past champions who wasn't picked, Benny, turns around with Adam Rosen and gets a victory. And their name will be on the cup. A very special new introduction into Menstown is the cup signing ceremony, which will happen before the tournament starts. And how do you think he feels about that, being a 4-time champion?
Yeah, 4-time champion. That is a record in Menstown. He was the only person that could surpass Clay Tone Opener in the rankings. And we have a pretty good guess, I think, together that that's happened here today. And that'll be revealed later in the show.
Looking back at Menstown 2012, did Rosen bring the goods, or was just Benny that good?
It was an interesting year. I think Rosen came in as a bit of a nobody. He'd had 1 year of Menstown under his belt. He comes in Thursday night, Friday morning. He's lights out on the holy board. He's showing everybody how it's done. Tournament starts, he kind of cools down. I think what happened, Bud, is that the team just had kind of an easy path.
Ah, interesting.
They stuck up in the winner's circle. They did really well in the beer pong. Didn't see any dominant play, but they did just enough to win. And they had an easy opponent in the final and walked all over them. And it was
unbelievable.
A clear 4th champion and 1st championship for Rosen.
Who was it again that they played in the final? I slips my mind. That was the
Spencer Wood Todd Bugby team.
Interesting. Yeah.
Classic case of overachieving. Bugby making his first final in his career after attending all but 2 Menstowns. And, we'll probably see that reflected in the rankings. But they were really outgassed and outclassed when it came to the final.
Of course, rankings will be coming up a little later in the program. One last question regarding the Rosen-Benny duo. They get paired again. Hypothetically, is this a team that you would watch out for? Is this a team that could win 2 out of 3 Menstowns?
Well,
4 out of 5?
I think the chances of them pairing up is real slim. Obviously, Rosen